Welcome back once again to another end of the year recap video where we sit down, we talk about the games that came out this year, and we rank them, we grade them in a way. As you can see, this is the same ranking list here as last year, as we got Game of the Year at the very top, which we won't put anything in there until we are at the end. Obviously, Game of the Year is not going to be any of the DLCs that we played. That won't fit into DLC or Game of the Year because it is just part of the game. So, I mean, sorry, that's not going to happen. So, yeah, Game of the Year, A, B, C, D, F. We have not yet put anything in F. I do believe we put some games in D, though. I wanted to try and be a little more forward with my things. This feels very weird because I don't have a headset on. Every time I record, I always have a headset on. I don't need it. I'm not listening to anything. But some of these you can't really tell. Before, I used to do just the poster. Now some of them are the posters. The only ones that are actually the posters are the ones that I couldn't fucking get the logos for. Because like you look at Lost. Well, obviously Siren's Rest, we actually just did the entire DLC in one video, so I didn't actually need to have the logo for that. But Lost Souls aside, you can see right here. For some reason, I couldn't use the frickin' logo. I had to actually get a poster of the game for it to use. Same with the DLCs to Atomfall and Claws of Awaji. But these are all the games, all 29 different games / DLCs that we played in the year of 2025, and we are going to rank them from our Game of the Year to A to B to C to D. We're not really ranking, I guess. We're more grading these and putting them in a tier list. And I'm excited to get going. We do this every year at the end of the year once we get past uploading the last video, or the last video of the last game that I have planned for the year. Otherwise, there were supposed to be 30 games this year because, actually, if you really think about it, there was supposed to be like 31 because GTA 5 was originally going to come out this year. Well, that got pushed back to 2026. We were supposed to do Code Violet a couple weeks ago. That got pushed back to January 10th, so that's going to be part of the 2026 tier list, our first game going into the 2026 tier list. Other than that, I believe there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, which would be 28, 29. Okay, there are 29 here. Perfect. Other than that, we can get right into our grading. I didn't write it down, and I wanted to, I just didn't. There was a lot. The whole reason I didn't get this up yesterday is because on the 29th, I was putting this together kind of late because I was watching football in the morning, and I was watching football in the night as well. I was watching Monday Night Football and Monday Night Raw. So I kind of put it together after that. I was going to record it that night, but I just had so many problems with the logos. I originally did all the posters. Only 17 of them went in because the other ones have like this weird like thing where I can't add images because they're like I don't even remember what it is. Before, I used people to edit the image and turn them into a JPEG file, and some of them I can't do that. So I have to actually take them, actually find something that'll work. So I did find, at the end of the day, I found 29 things that will work. I believe this is, I don't know why this has a white background. This isn't, last year I had them in order of when I played them. This year they're in alphabetical order. So as you can see, Assassin's Creed is first, then Atomfall, then Avatar, then Battlefield, Borderlands, Call of Duty, Chronos. Yeah, they're in alphabetical order. This is the first year we don't actually have Madden in this. Before, we had Madden every year, but I'm not sure if that'll be in part of future videos. I know we're planning on starting a new football-focused channel because I love talking football. I love playing football video games. I play college football and Madden all the time when I'm not playing single-player, storyline-driven games by myself. And I've been telling you all, I've been working on Resident Evil, so I haven't played much football. But I'm done with Resident Evil 7, going into Resident Evil 8, finished all the DLCs and all that, so I'm ready for Resident Evil 8. I'm also trying to re-download Red Dead Redemption 1. I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 1 in years. Just beat and got every trophy on the main part of the game. Now I got to go to Undead Nightmare and do that to get the Platinum Trophy. That's what I'm working towards there. But we should get right in to putting together our tier list. If you would like to put together a tier list of your own and share it with me, I'd love that on Twitter or whatever you want to do. The link to this will be in the description below. You can go and check it out. This should be public, so you should be able to get to it, even if you went to the tiermaker.com, as you can see, obviously in the top left. But yeah, 2025 video game tier list, Logan PN channel is really all I named it. So you can see it right up here. So, other than that, I put that in the description as for my YouTube channel. Other than that, let's get right into this tier list. We're going to start off with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Assassin's Creed Shadows, we played early in the year in February, ranging all videos. I used to talk about how long the videos range. I just decided this year that everything's just going to be 2 hours, whether they're Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which took me 2 episodes to finish, or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which took me like 18 streams to finish. Then if we actually want to talk about videos, I think Assassin's Creed Shadows was the longest game that we played in terms of videos. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 probably wouldn't have been that long, but I was streaming it. I was streaming all the signed content as well. That's actually something that I did the first time with that game. I also did it with Adamfall this year. That's only because a lot of the lore surrounding this, even the side stuff, all fit with the main story in Oberon, which I wanted to kind of keep all together. And it really wasn't that long, even if you did all the signed content anyway, so I was perfectly happy with it. I don't know what even brought me into playing Adamfall. I can't even remember what I saw that wanted me to play it. I remember seeing images early on of, like, being in that little town, and the commander or whatever would be sitting in that... I don't remember the name of the place he was sitting in. I just remember seeing images of that early on. I was like, yeah, this game looks interesting. Probably not going to play it, but... And then I played it, and I was like, holy shit, this is a fantastic experience. I love this. I'm getting too far out of my... I'm two fucking things ahead. Assassin's Creed Shadows itself, the main game. I enjoyed the main story for the most part. I love the fact that you could get in even with the side content. And I was doing a lot of the side content on my own, and I had to because I needed to level up so I could go past and do these other quests. So I did have to play the game a lot in my own time to level up my character, but the satisfying appearance, the satisfying, which makes you sound kind of crazy, that's why I was just laughing, the satisfying thing about these is the fact that, you'd go through a hit list and mark off each person you kill. That was satisfying as fuck. Makes me sound kind of crazy, but if you go and watch my Doom the Dark Ages videos, you'll know I'm a little bit more insane than that. But it was very fun. The storyline in itself, as much as I don't remember a lot of it, because this is kind of like the first game we played this year, and it really wasn't a Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 game where I remember fucking everything because it's how much I love the game. I didn't mind it, and one of my biggest complaints with the game, and I think you saw it if you watched my Claws of Awaji DLC videos, is the fact that you do a parry, and the parry means that you get like an extra couple attacks, like 3 attacks in there. You do that, and then she immediately go into her next move that I'm not ready to block because I just parried expecting me to have 3 or 4 hits before she starts attacking me again, and I didn't. And I didn't really have much of those problems with Naue, but Naue was a whole lot faster. When you played Yasuke, sure, he could tank a lot more hits, but it was just harder to play when my parries weren't doing what they were supposed to do. And they didn't fix that in the Claws of Awaji at all, and that became the biggest problem in that one. Assassin's Creed Shadows didn't really have that much of a problem. Then again, I can always say that obviously Awaji came out in October, don't think we even got playing to it till November, and Assassin's Creed Shadows came out in February, March, whatever day it was. And I don't usually play a lot of Assassin's Creed games. I've probably played a lot of them. I've never gone and actually finished them. This is the first Assassin's Creed I've ever finished in my life. Safe to say, I was not disappointed in the story. I thought the story had a great thing to it. It was kind of a revenge story for Naue as she got her father killed by, who was it, Nobunaga, and then Nobunaga wasn't even the true villain here in the story. It was really it was like the right hand man of Nobunaga. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Who ended up becoming like the true guy, the true guy that led the group that killed Naoe's father. And of course, because he helped assassinate Nobunaga, Yasuke came in to help Naoe and kind of became a member of the Creed in a way. Not entirely, but a member of her Creed, you could say. Which was... Yasuke was a blast to play with at first, but then Naoe became kind of more of my favorite character just based off her abilities. The stealth was good. I never really had a problem with the stealth. Sometimes, obviously, skill issue, I'd run into problems with that, and I'd have to fight my way out. But as you upgrade your characters, every game you gotta truly think about, and I'll get into it with Kingdom Come Deliverance too, but you have to just upgrade your character, and a lot of it sometimes really, you could say is a skill issue, but it'll make life a whole lot easier when you get the proper skills and the skill tree to help you do these things easier and make the game easier on yourself. But Assassin's Creed Shadows, other than that, I had a good time playing it. I don't think I'm going to rank it anywhere higher than an A. It's probably going to go into the B for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Fun game. I enjoyed it. I paid $70 for the game. I don't think I bought any extra DLC, or I bought the DLC, but I don't think I bought any extra stuff for it. But I thought I got enough gameplay, enough story out of my $70 purchase, and I was 100% just fine with it, which obviously I forgot that I do like to talk about, did I get my money's worth in this, but I gotta make sure I know the prices of this. For like Assassin's Creed Claws of Awaji price. The Claws of Awaji price was $25. Otherwise, I know I most of these games I spend $70 on. Atomfall, I believe, was actually just like $40, but we'll get into that later. Other than that, yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows, it was a good game. I thought it had good story. I thought it had decent character development. And we get into that more with Naoe and Claws of Awaji, because obviously at the end of the game we find out that Naoe's mother, I'm pretty sure we find out that Naoe's mother's still alive, so that brings us into Claws of Awaji. And I didn't like Claws of Awaji at all. I didn't feel like this. I never got sucked into the story. Couldn't get back into the characters of Naoe and Yasuke. I know they just also released this other DLC shit with, what was it, like Titan? Not Titanfall. It's Titan in the name, Attack on Titan or something like that. Which I don't watch anime much, so I can't really tell you anything about Attack on Titan. But I know my friends keep wanting me to get into anime. I like the emotions and feel of a more realistic looking person, which is why, like, if you go to, like, the Dispatch here, which we'll get into later, it's more like that's kind of out of my realm, out of my zone. As you can see, a lot of these games kind of have something in common. They're all kind of more realistic setting style games with realistic graphics, more human-like emotions, which I do have to sneeze, so if I mute real quick, it's going to be the reason. Okay, that sucks. But I've never played it. I'm never going to play it. So I'm probably not going back to Assassin's Creed Shadows. If they drop another DLC, I'm probably not going to go play it. If they drop another game, I will probably play another Assassin's Creed game, but I don't plan on doing any more Assassin's Creed Shadows content on my channel. If they do drop any other DLCs and stuff like that. So, yeah. But Claws of Awaji, I really couldn't get into the story. It's even hard for me to kind of explain the story because I just really didn't like the game. I didn't like the DLC that much. It gave you a whole new map. I didn't feel like doing any of the side content. It was just this long and grueling process of eliminating people on the road over and over and over and over again to get to the information of the people that you wanted to kill, the main people that you wanted to kill. I didn't think they did a good job with it. I thought that they would have been a little more creative, and the creativity just, it wasn't there, especially when it came to the people you were fighting, who you were assassinating, and shit like that. And it just didn't have the excitement. I couldn't really, the only thing I really know is that now I went to free her mother, who was locked away by whatever the heck the woman's name was, and I never got into it. The boss fight was incredibly tough. It really annoyed me, especially because it was doing that same, like, I parry, I'd give you a hit, and then it just takes two shot. It took, like, she immediately started hitting me right away, so I wouldn't be prepared to block, wouldn't be prepared to dodge, and it's really hard with Yasuke just because of he's the bigger guy here in the group. If I could have fought her with Naoe, I probably would have won easily, and that's just because of how her skills were. But I fought her with Yasuke, didn't have a very good time, was very annoyed by it, and I just keeps coming back to the story that I just didn't think it was good. And I know that sounds like I should put this in the F. I'm not going to put it in F because I did put Assassin's Creed Shadows in B. I don't think this deserves that harsh of a ranking, but I am going to give Claws of Awaji a D, just basically because it just didn't deliver. I don't think sorry, I just smacked the shit out of my mic. It didn't deliver like Assassin's Creed Shadows, the main game. I felt like that one did, and I really enjoyed the story a whole lot more than that one. Getting out of that, which we'll be back in the Japanese setting shortly, so don't worry about that. Didn't we play? What did we play? Well, I guess the only other Japanese setting one was Silent Hill F. I guess, no. Yeah, that was the only other one. Huh. Alright, well, we get into Atomfall, man. Atomfall was a fucking blast, dude. I loved Atomfall. I believe the game was $40, and everything in the world, all of this just connected to what was going on in that Oberon site. So, no matter where you went, no matter what side content you got into, it all had some sort of connection with Oberon, which is where you were trying to get to, so that you could figure out what happened in the quarantine zone and why the quarantine zone was even quarantined off. And the multiple endings, different styles, different ways to get out, I thought they did a fantastic job with that. Sorry. Whether that was giving in to the Oberon, which actually just turned out to be an alien asteroid that was kind of took over humans in a way. Oh, Ghost of Yote was also a Japanese setting game. I just didn't realize that right away. Sorry. Didn't mean to get out of focus here on Atomfall, but it was an incredible time. I loved playing it. I was into it the whole time. The development of your character going from having no fucking idea what is going on, why is he here, what's his purpose here, to figuring out everything towards the end of this game, and that doesn't even start with the DLCs, which I'm going to flip these two around so we can talk about the ones that came out in order after that. But yeah, no, they were this game was an absolute blast. I enjoyed every second of it. I 100% would recommend it. All the lore, all the stuff, all the just different things you can find that just gave you more information on what the hell was actually going on in the realm of Atomfall. I just had a blast with it, man, and I really don't know what else more I can say. It was an incredible game. I thought whoever I can't remember who the developers, but they did a fantastic fucking job with this game, and I loved it. And that's why, for me, it is going to be the first game. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. It's going to be the first game going into A, because Atomfall was an incredible time. Paid $40 for it. Got an incredible experience. And yeah, I have to look up the price for this DLC. Price. I think they're both the same price. I want to see the price on PlayStation. Was it $20? That's kind of crazy. Oh, it was $20. Okay, that changes some things. I thought that was going to be I thought it was like $15. I don't remember if it was $20. Wow. It was still good. It gave you about 4 hours of a lot of different content. You went to this different island that was also being affected by inside the quarantine zone. And there were 2 new endings. Actually, there were 3 new endings to the game. I didn't do 2 of them on film, but I only did the one that's kind of like fit the style of the Midsummer Isle. So yeah, this is actually, I didn't mention this, Atomfall was actually a game that I sat down and played until I platinumed the game. And yeah, I don't do that with a lot of games. I did that with actually 2 games that we finished this year. I tried to do it with 3, but I kind of got a little tired of doing it with the other one. I might still go back and do it at some point, but as of right now, I'm not going to do it. But Midsummer Isle was a fun time, a little bit smaller of an experience, but still there was a lot of lore connected just to that island. It didn't really have any connection big time to Oberon itself, but Midsummer Isle had a small piece of Oberon fall on it a long time ago, which is what was at the bottom of the monastery at the very top, which kind of gave people, all the people from the abbot to the people in the monastery, the monks, all kind of eventually kind of gave into it. And yeah, and the other one was just like the bandit leader out there. You had to get a piece of the, I can't remember what they called the piece that was there, but you had to get a piece of that and then bring it back with you to the bandit lady, and you could get on a boat and go sell that for money and have money on the way out. You could also, if you didn't get the sample, you could have also gotten the growth sample that you were giving in the original game, or the sample that would have suppressed it but not killed it. You could have given that to her as well, and you could have escaped with those as well, instead of just a sample from the whatever the piece was called. But it was a good experience. I'm gonna give it a B, mostly because I don't think this was the best DLC out of the 2 DLCs that we got. And it didn't really connect to the Oberon as a whole. It was just kind of more of a fun expansion with a different side of a story to it. And I'm just kind of going to put it in B, because I don't think I can put it up with A. But when we switch over to Atomfall the Red Strain, which I'm assuming also would have been $20 if the Midsummer Isle was $20, which it isn't a lot of money, I should say. But I feel like for what we got, for the content we got, $20 is a fine price. I wish it would have been more 15, but yeah. The Red Strain actually offered us a whole lot more detail into what Oberon was. The Red Strain obviously talks about a red strain of the virus that came from Oberon, that they were experimenting on a different part of the quarantine zone, that not even the people that ran the Oberon site even knew that this place even existed. It actually, I believe, got contaminated long before the quarantine zone started, if I remember correctly, and as the Red Strain ended up breaking out. But there was as you can see in the image, there's a brain in that mech suit. Well, the top scientists that were working on it, they put their brains on little tubes so that they could keep working on this for as long as they needed to find a cure to not only the Red Strain but to Oberon itself. And there was a whole bunch of new lore added to it, and I thought it was an absolute blast to play. Just another thing that's just, you just find more lore and you learn more about what Oberon actually was and where it came from and what these people were doing here with the different strain of the virus. And this was a blast. I loved it. I actually loved it a whole lot more than Midsummer Isle, and that's why I'm putting it up with A for DLC. And I'm obviously going to rank DLCs a little bit different from actual main games because they're bigger, which is a little bit of a different story when we go into Avatar Frontiers of Pandora from the Ashes. Now, we just finished this 3 days ago on the channel, so it's still really fresh in my memory. I went into, and I don't remember what I graded the other DLCs. I think one was a C. I think the other one might have been a D. If it wasn't a D, it was probably a C as well. I didn't really like them, and I think they soured my taste on Avatar Frontiers of Pandora as a whole after that, because I actually really liked Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, the game, and I think it really expanded on the Avatar lore. It really expanded on the planet of Pandora, which you just kind of sat down and you got to learn so much more about, and what all the different creatures on Pandora, all the different tribes, and what happened. Avatars of Frontiers of Pandora takes place a year after the actual game, after the last DLC, I'm pretty sure, and it's about a group of people called the Mukwang who partnered with the Sky People, a group of Na'vi, partnered with the Sky People to basically take out these other clans, and I can't remember exactly what their purpose was. I really sometimes felt like they lacked purpose, or they all had their own individual purpose, that they didn't really like the mother planet, or whatever the heck they called it again, and they were doing a lot of more torturous things to the animals of Pandora, which obviously normal Na'vi did not like. But one of the biggest story points of the game was Nor coming back, and Nor wanting Tomte, who was your character in the original game, which we actually found out her name in this one. We never knew her name in the original story. Nor wanted Tomte, Renala, Talon, and Sotlek to stop using the Sky People metal, stop using their stuff, because you're just going to become more like them, which didn't end up turning out to be the case, and nor ended up being wrong. Yeah, you were able, and at the end of this, you ended up killing the final Mukwang guy who actually had a run-in with Sotlek a long time ago, and yeah, I thought this was fun. It brought new story to what I felt like the other two DLCs lacked a lot in, and I had an absolute blast playing Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora from the Ashes. I am probably only going to give it a B, though. And I just don't think I can give it an A. I don't think it fits that. I paid $25 for it. I wish I would have gotten a little more from it. At least another, like, I had finished this on 4 episodes. I was told that it was going to take 10 to 20 hours. I'm like, holy shit, 10 to 20 hours, $25 a DLC. And at that point, I was already enjoying it so much. And then I finished it 2 episodes later. I'm like, that wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be. But I think it was 10 to 20 hours to finish all, like, 100% it, which I'm probably not going to go back and do. I've already deleted the game off my PlayStation, so I went and did a lot of the side content in the original game, but I really had no interest in going back and doing it there, because I was just kind of done with the game. It's not a game I'm probably going to go back and play ever. Unlike an Atomfall, which I would love to go back and play. Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm never going to go back and play. But I like that they brought back Nor. I was actually very excited to see Nor, his character development from when he left off stabbing, I believe he stabbed Alma's avatar, and he left, and we never saw him again until this DLC. But the other Sarentu were excited to see him, but also not, because, like, hey, you left us to fight for ourselves, you asshole. So he ended up coming back into the group, which I wasn't very happy with, because he ended up killing Alma, getting Alma and the other resistance members killed, the ones that were trying to help the Sarentu and the other Na'vi. So I don't really understand why he got let back into the group so easily, because even, like, Sotlek said it, like, sure, the Sky People are aliens, they're different people trying to come into our planet, but these guys were different. They were with us. They wanted to protect our planet for us against their own kind. And as they should have learned in this one, now facing the Mukwang, who are other Na'vi, that sometimes fights between their own people happen. And sometimes other people are going to disagree, which I think could have been a bigger focus in this DLC. More like, hey, well, the Resistance and the Sky People are fighting each other, and even though the Resistance is Sky People, but the RDA are fighting each other, so they're dumb because other, people of the same race shouldn't fight each other. But then they kind of came into the fact that now these Mukwang, these other Na'vi, are killing other Na'vi, and now I feel like there should have been more of an understanding of what's going on between the Sky People now that the Na'vi are now fighting within themselves. So that could have been a more bigger story point that they didn't really do, that I thought would have been a great kind of point. But other than that, it was a good DLC. I think it was worth the $25 to play, and I had a blast with it, although unlike the other 2 DLCs, which soured my taste on the game. Out of the A's into the B's, we got Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6, we are just specifically here talking about the campaign. Lasted about 3 episodes long. It was alright. I didn't mind it. I thought it was a good time for those 3 episodes, those 6 hours that we sat down and played it. I actually kind of really got behind the story a little bit. And, yeah, I mean, Battlefield has fun gameplay. I think it's kind of died down more because, once again, Battlefield 6, it's just another one of those games, man. And I said the same thing about Arc Raiders. And Arc Raiders, a lot of people are still playing and enjoying Arc Raiders. I haven't played Arc Raiders in a while now. So I don't really know. I just think it's just another one of these games that come out. It feels kind of like the same as other games, other extraction shooters that I've played with my friends in the past. I don't feel like there's anything unique or fun about it. Well, that's a lie. I don't feel like there's anything unique about it, but I do feel like there's a lot of fun stuff. I did enjoy playing the game for a short time. It just kind of got boring a little quick. And that's how Battlefield 6 felt for us. Me and my friends, we played a lot of the multiplayer. We were playing it. We played the beta. Even during the beta, I kind of got bored of it fast. Battlefield 6's campaign, though, which is what we're specifically talking about here, I thought had a really good story. And I think that was really it. Battlefield 6 has fun movement. I really don't know where else I can go talking about Battlefield 6, man. I don't really remember the story that much. It was very short. It's hard to remember a story that's a very short experience and not very impactful in any way. So I'm going to give Battlefield 6's campaign, this is just a campaign grading alone, I'm going to give it a B because I still enjoyed it. I didn't think it was nearly that terrible, but for $70, I understand that there's more multiplayer. The more main focus of it is multiplayer, but I wish we could have got a little bit more. Otherwise, now we're going into a game that had a big jump from their previous installment. Borderlands 4, man. Borderlands 3, man, we were just trying to play it earlier this year. I never actually played it until earlier this year. I played 1, 2, Tales of the Borderlands. I actually haven't played Tales of the Borderlands, Handsome Jack Collection, whatever other Borderlands there was. I never played 3 until earlier this year, and me and my buddy sat down, started to play 3. It was very hard. It's hard to get into the antagonists, the twins. They weren't really good antagonists. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I really want to fight you guys. I just didn't care. I didn't really care about them. I didn't. I don't know, man. It was very hard for me to get into that. But Borderlands 4 was a lot more fun. I actually, who was the antagonist's name again? I don't know. You were stuck on a planet. I don't remember what the planet was called. And basically you were being locked in by this guy who actually turned out to be, of course, I don't know if you guys knew this. We're 30 minutes in already, but if you don't want spoilers for any of these games, you probably shouldn't have clicked on this video. But what the fuck was the guy's name? I'm gonna lose it. But he was the main antagonist of the game, and I actually looked forward to the fight with him. I actually wanted to get to the end and see where the story led, to see what would happen. And I thought the fight was fairly fun. I think we kind of got, and I think a lot of the Borderlands games have a problem with this. I think you get overpowered too quickly, and I don't think there was a couple early on that my final boss was fun. There was like the second or maybe the second boss that you fought in the actual main storyline was fun, but other than that, the Borderlands kind of got a little more lame, or the bosses kind of got a little more lamer until we got to the ending fight, which isn't terrible to say because the final boss I think should be the most entertaining and fun boss to fight, unless you're talking Final Fantasy 16, where they just I don't know, every boss was peak. Fuck, I love Final Fantasy 16, but we're not in the Final Fantasy 16. I ended up playing Borderlands 4 with a friend, by the way. And this took about 8 to 9 episodes to finish. It was a fun game. Spent about $70 on the game. And, yeah, I think I'm going to put Borderlands 4 in the B category. I think a lot more people are going to have it in A. I don't think anyone's really going to have it in Game of the Year. Like, a lot more people are going to have it in A. It's just, I don't know. I think I enjoyed playing a whole lot more Borderlands when I was younger with my brother and all that stuff. But, I don't think I got into it as much as I did other games this year, and I just feel like a B is a good place to put it. I think it was worth the $70 if you went out and bought it now, whether it was on sale or not. I don't think that would be a bad way to spend your money. Get a friend, play the game, have a good time, enjoy it. Out of the B's, into the C's. Call of Duty Black Ops 7. This game sucked. I respect that they tried to go a more multiplayer, a new, fresh way into the story, and the story itself wasn't really terrible. It wasn't very good. It wasn't nearly on the level of Black Ops 6. Black Ops 6 actually had a good and enjoyable story to it. This one just kind of, I respect at least that the whole supernatural shit that was happening was just a hallucinogen. But I don't know. It really felt like it got away from that combat, that military sim that all of us know Call of Duty for being. And I don't know. I kind of wish we'd kind of get back to the way of telling stories that we do with Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. Felt like an actual military operation and not whatever the hell we were doing in Black Ops 7. I never actually finished Black Ops 3, so I can't have a say in that one. But Call of Duty, I don't know why we went to Black Ops 6 right to Black Ops 7 right away. That's a little disappointing. Thought we should have went somewhere else. But I don't know. I'm not looking forward to Black Ops or any more Call of Duties really at all. We're probably going to play them on the channel because we've been playing them the last couple of years, and I always end up buying them for some fucking reason. But I'm going to give Black Ops 7 a D. It wasn't very good. Didn't really enjoy it that much. I wish that logo would actually fit into the things instead of just the L of D CKO, but it doesn't. But that is Black Ops 7. Now into the next game here. We got Chronos: The New Dawn. Chronos: The New Dawn was a fun horror game. It really had a lot of what are the games I'm looking for? It had like a Silent Hill type of vibe combined with Dead Space, and there was something else that I combined it with that went kind of together with the combat. I wasn't very happy about not having a dodge. I think that is pretty dumb in games. I don't really understand why we don't have dodge buttons in games. Why that even comes a thought. I understand that they wanted you. The whole purpose of the game was attack from a distance, even though they kind of gave you options to melee, which we'll get into the melee problems with the game here later on. But the story took a little bit, but man, I really got into it towards the end. There's still a lot of questions I feel like that are unanswered, and I don't know if they ever will get answered, but it was kind of a respectable story towards the end that I actually really enjoyed, and I'm interested to see what else they do with it. Story, as I said, pretty good. Character development went from this person showing up on Earth, a really fucked up Poland, and just trying to figure out what goes on, and then continuing the mission of her successor, or her previous person that came before her, kind of like an Expedition 33 in a way. That's where the story vibes gave me, because I played Expedition 33 way before this game, obviously. Where when one person died, the next person came, the next traveler came, and they were trying to basically save the human race. So they were going back in time and uploading the human race's subconscious into the system and bringing him back. But the only problem is that between the previous guy and the person that you are playing, there was a long time, because the guy that was there, the warden, ended up, I believe, like shutting down the system entirely, and he was trying to find a way to the girl that he was supposed to extract, trying to find a way to bring her or save her instead of which is what the warden needed the new traveler for, which was your character. He needed to put the woman that he loved, the woman that he wanted to save, instead of uploading her subconscious onto this thing. He wanted to kind of save her in a way where she would be with him, and he wouldn't have to continue his mission. I don't. It's harder to explain. I'm sorry, my nose is very itchy and it's pissing me off. It's kind of hard to explain. You have to actually play the game to really understand it, or watch the game on my channel. Hint, hint. But I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a B, as it was a good game. It was a fun game, and that's really it. I wish I had a dodge button. I wish I could have gotten some more questions answered, but other than that, it was a fun and game that I think it was only $60. I don't think it was any more. I don't think it was 70, but I think it might have been 60. Might even been cheaper than that. But I thought it was worth it. As we get into the game of the year winner, I should say, is not particularly saying it could be my game of the year. It could be. I don't know. I've talked about it a lot this year. So, Expedition 33, man. Expedition 33, that story is definitely one of... It's probably tied with me for Death Stranding 2 for best narrative entirely. Expedition 33's narrative, the story, was so emotional and so fucking fantastic that it's so hard to explain, to put into words kind of how it was. Someone dealing with loss in the family, and her kind of getting lost in her brother's painting, which Verso is the one that died, and he was still alive in his painting, obviously. But Verso in his painting knew that the Verso in real life is dead, and that the Verso is not going to be coming back. And when it came to the ending it came closer to the ending with the Paintress and Renoir, Renoir... Was Renoir the main character, or was he the father? I don't remember. His whole thing was, I don't remember what exactly he was trying to do, protect the Paintress in a way, to protect his wife. And then they went up and faced the Paintress, which knocked her out of the painting when they defeated her, which basically saved her life because her being stuck in this painting because of her sorrow for Verso's death in the real life, was going to kill her herself. And towards the end of the game, when Mael realizes that, okay, she's just not a character in Verso's painting, she kind of fucked up when she entered the painting and made her... She basically lived two different lives at this point. One inside Verso's painting and one outside of Verso's painting, which is very interesting to think about now that she's lived and grown accustomed and loves the characters inside of Verso's painting and Verso himself, obviously. She didn't want to leave the painting. She didn't want Renoir to destroy the painting, which was probably the option. And when it came down to the ending after you defeated Renoir, it came down to Verso and Mael. Mael, now, this is obviously... The decision-making in this was what I think the main topic of conversation at the end of this game is who was right. Was it Mael or was it Verso? Mael wanted to keep the painting alive, wanted to stay in the painting, but it was going to kill her, and it was going to bring more loss to Verso's family. So the Verso in the painting wanted Mael to leave the painting. It's like, I understand, and he said, I understand you love these characters, but your family, your life outside, your real life is more important than what's in here. And I sided with Verso. I thought that, she didn't need to be, as much as I understood why she wanted to save and love and not destroy the painting. It was also the fact that she was going to get lost and probably get killed because of herself being so, probably coming back and being in that painting a lot. Kind of like how Mael and Verso's mother was. And Verso, I think, kind of knocked Mael out of the painting in a way. And I don't really know if the painting got destroyed. I'm pretty sure it probably did. And it sucks because, when the people in the painting kind of realize, hey, this is all fake, this world doesn't even exist, this isn't even a real world, it was a hard thing for them to understand, obviously. I mean, what if someone came up to you and said, hey, you don't really exist, this entire world around you is fake and it's not real? How would you feel about that? Especially because you have no way of being real. You have no way of being a real-life person because you're in this fake painting, it's such a crazy concept that they absolutely fucking nailed the narrative on, and the fun kind of interactive turn-based combat I thought was actually very fun. I thought I actually had a good time with it. It reminds me a lot of some older Final Fantasies like Dragon Quest as well and shit like that I used to play when I was younger. Never really finished many of them. I don't think I finished any of them. The first Final Fantasy I finished was Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then I finished obviously 16 and now Rebirth. I plan to go back and I want to go back and play a whole lot more of them and finish them, but I haven't done that yet. Haven't played Final Fantasy Tactics yet either, which I really want to do. But enough about that. Expedition 33, from character development to the narrative to the gameplay to the art direction, was fucking phenomenal. And I get that they use a little bit of AI in their game. Oh, shucks. I'm fine if they use AI to help them get to these deadlines and get their game out faster. I'm not fine, however, if AI becomes the main art, if AI becomes the main voice actors. I don't want AI to replace people's jobs. If you're using AI as the way Expedition 33 did, or the way that Divinity is doing, that Larian Studios is getting a lot of heat for, then I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just generative AI that they're using to help them get the game done faster so that they can give the game out to us. Nobody's losing their jobs. Nobody is not getting employed because of this AI. It's just a tool for them to use to help themselves get this game out faster. And Expedition 33 lost their Indie Game of the Year award at the Indie Awards for that purpose, which fucking bullshit, but I get that it's in their rules, but that doesn't really matter to them, I guess. They won the Game of the Year. They won the Golden Joystick for Game of the Year. They've won IGN's Game of the Year. They won a whole lot of Game of the Years, so I don't think they really need to worry about that. They're the most awarded game at the Game Awards show ever. So good for them. Obviously, this is not going anywhere other than A. And if I could give it an A plus, but I'm not putting an A plus in here, I'd give it an A plus. And maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should go into the A pluses and the A minuses. God damn it. I don't want to go into that because then that's just going to make so much more of a jumbled mess. But, yeah. As we get into another Game of the Year contender, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Man, I fucking loved this game. I had literally just finished Death Stranding 1, actually sat down, and I watched Death Stranding 1 on a video before, but I never truly understood the lore like I did playing Death Stranding 1 myself at, of course, now 22 years of age, or 21 at the time when I played it. But Death Stranding 2, fucking blast, dude. Every single thing that made Death Stranding 1 great, they took in 2 and made better. From the combat to the tools that help you along your journey to the objects and stuff that shows up from other people that other people have built that help you along. Different ways you got a vehicle quicker, you got a vehicle right away. And everyone's sitting here like, it's a walking simulator, why would you play it? It's not. You get a car like after the first delivery. So I don't know. Your complaining is dumb and stupid. Same with Death Stranding 1. You get a car after like the first 2 hours. And the game is like 30 hours long. So I don't know what to tell you, man. If you can't be patient enough to get past those, it's like not being patient enough to kind of get past the slow parts of Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm telling you, I say this all the time. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the greatest stories I've ever played. Get past the slow parts at the early parts of the game, and I'm telling you, you will be in for one of the best stories of your life. And my buddy, actually, Johnny from Notorious Heels podcast, he actually got past the slow parts, played the entire game. He absolutely loves that story, and I do too. Love the story. Death Stranding 2 story, though, was absolutely incredible. As I said, it ties with Expedition 33 for my personal best narrative game of the year, and I just had a blast with it, man. From the beginning to the end, to the boss fights, to just everything that they made better about it, to the character development, to the characters themselves were absolutely amazing. From Fragile to Sam Porter Bridges to Tomorrow, they were all just absolutely incredible. I really hope that Kojima does a number 3. But we'll see what happens with that. I know he's working on OD Knock and another game as well, so we'll see what happens with those. We'll definitely be playing those on the channel whenever those get released. But Death Stranding 2, obviously going in the A. Don't know where else it would go. Now, let's get into Dispatch, man. Dispatch was fucking amazing. It I want to put it in best narrative, but I'm not. There's no way I'm putting it above Expedition 33 and Death Stranding 2. I'm sorry for all you Dispatch super fans that absolutely love the game. I absolutely love the game too. I got these games in the Expedition 33 to Death Stranding 2 to Dispatch. These are the games that gave me like that post game depression. Like, damn, I finished this game. Now what the fuck do I do? I don't want to play any other game. I wanted to keep playing this game, but I'm done with it. So now what do I do? That's kind of how it became for me. Because I didn't know what to do when I finished the game, man. I was sad that I finished the game because I really wanted to keep playing the game. But, obviously, I couldn't because all 8 episodes were done. The story was absolutely amazing. Between the love story, whether you picked Invisigal or Blonde Blazer, to the gameplay. I wish they could have went more Telltale with it and gave us kind of a movable environment. I think that would have been fun. But they didn't go that route, and that's obviously not going to knock them in any rankings here. The strategy style of trying to pick the best hero for which dispatch, or dispatch the best hero for what situation, I should say, was really, really good, and I felt like I really got the hang of it. It kept telling me that towards the end I was like, oh, you missed one, you missed a call and you failed one call. Guess what? 90% of the people that played this did better than you. Yeah, I don't fucking believe that. I could maybe see if you did like 50%, like, okay, yeah. maybe I'll believe that. But then it's like, you did better than 10% of the people in this game. And I'm like, what? Only 10%? I'm in the top? Yeah. I don't believe that for a second. I think a lot of the choices towards the end were kind of glitched and didn't actually show the real statistics of other people's choices. But that doesn't even matter, because what matters is your choices and what you did and how you turned your story, what you turned your story into. And Dispatch feels like one of the first ever Telltale style games, whether it goes from, Until Dawn or the Dark Pictures Anthology series or any other game like that. Dispatch actually feels like the first game that I personally feel like I just made all the right decisions. I didn't get anybody killed. I succeeded as a mentor. I did a fantastic job with everything. And I actually felt like I just made all the right decisions. And I love the ending that I got when it came to... What was the fucking guy's name? The main antagonist here. Whatever his name was. His whole entire thing was, being able to find out the best probability for success. Like, he wasn't somebody that could predict the future, but it's like, oh, I have an 84% chance of success if I do this. Oh, my opponent has a 70% chance of success if he does this, so I need to do this to lower that percentage in a way. It's kind of how it was all in his mask. It was his technology, so he never really had superpowers. But neither did Mecha Man. He didn't have superpowers. Robert didn't have superpowers. He was just a suit. And towards the end, when it came to how do you beat a guy who knows the best probability for his own success, hey, just give him a 50-50 option. Make something that give him an option where he just has, hey, you can be 50% of the chance you could be right, 50% you could be wrong. And he ended up choosing wrong, which ended up not working out well for him, which was absolutely fucking hilarious. I loved that ending. And then you obviously, I went with Invisigal for my relationship choice in this game, and failed as a mentor. Sorry, I didn't fail. Succeeded as a mentor. I haven't even gone back and done the other thing. I will at some point. It's just not going to happen now. But phenomenal game. They did an absolutely amazing. Ad Hoc Studios did absolutely amazing with this game, and I'm going to put that into A because of just how much the story, how much I fucking love the story. I hope they make a season 2, and I'm excited to see what the future is for Dispatch and just Ad Hoc Studios as a whole, because I'd love to see them branch out into different stories like Telltale did. As I know a lot of people are sitting here, and IGN went out and been, oh, this is like your spiritual successor to Telltale. I'm like, hold on. Telltale is still making games. Now, it's not the old Telltale. They went out of business. This is the new Telltale. They made the Expanse game that we played, last year, 2 years ago? I don't remember when it was. They're trying to get a Season 2 out for The Wolf Among Us, which I played The Wolf Among Us. Phenomenal game. I loved it. And I hope they do a lot more partnerships. I hope Ad Hoc does partnerships with different movies or different video games and stuff like Telltale did with Borderlands and The Walking Dead, which The Walking Dead is still up there with one of the greatest games I've ever played, because Telltale did such a great job with all 4 seasons of The Walking Dead. It was absolutely amazing. Season 1, absolute peak, and I think Season 4 is even peak as well. Although Season 2 and 3 were great as well. They weren't as good as 1 or 4. But let's get out of Dispatch and get right into Doom: The Dark Ages. I went back and I played Doom and Doom Eternal, Doom 2018... 2017, whatever, 2016, was it 2016? I don't remember. I went back and played those, and after playing those, I think I had a better experience and enjoyed a lot more of my time playing Doom and Doom Eternal than I did Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, Doom: The Dark Ages was an absolute blast. I was just sitting around mowing down aliens. I never played Doom before this. Doom: The Dark Ages was the first Doom I ever played. And then I obviously went back and played Doom and Doom Eternal. And I had a blast. For gameplay-wise, the story was very, very slow to start, and it was very hard for me to get into, and I wasn't really enjoying it until we got to the end, and it really started to pick up, and I actually ended up really enjoying the story at the end of it. I don't know why I was getting frustrated at not getting the all the 100% completions on the level. I don't know why I cared about it. I still haven't gone back and done it, and I probably won't. I didn't do it with Doom or Doom Eternal. I tried when I was actually in the level to kind of look around for objects and the stuff like that, but I didn't go back and do it. Doom the Dark Ages, fun game. I don't really know what else I can really say about it. The narrative got better towards the end. There's not really much of a game for character development. It's more of just a freaking shooter where you just have the time of your life with crazy fun gun gameplay. And for that sake, I'm going to put Doom the Dark Ages in B. Dying Light the Beast, man. This was an amazing game. Dying Light the Beast has an absolute blast of gameplay. So much fun stuff. So much fun parkour. Even though when it comes to Dying Light the Beast and Dying Light 1 and 2, Dying Light the Beast had probably the worst parkour, only because of how many times Kyle Crane freaking fell for me. He wouldn't grab onto some things, and my buddy was having the same problem, and he's like, I think Kyle Crane's just washed. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Other than that, and the story, man, the narrative was very good, from Kyle Crane being taken after he got out of Haran, and him being taken by the Baron, studied, tested on, and then they found a new guy, which was, I don't remember his name, but he was the main protagonist of the second one. That he was actually a better kind of alpha beast than Kyle was going to be. Sorry, my throat's getting really dry. Because Kyle was just way too resistant to everything the Baron did. And it actually, I think when he actually got broken out by the woman that broke him out, he was actually getting to a point where he was going to be giving up himself. And I think he was honestly just going to just give up on life, really, in reality. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I can say about it. But I've just lost my mind here for a second. I don't know why, but I did. I don't know if you guys know this, but apparently talking a lot makes you very tired. Jesus. And now I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, Dying Light the Beast was incredible. You get towards the end, and to find out that everything that happened, you breaking out, was more of a ploy. And at the end of the day, all that mattered is that the girl that broke you out made the right decision in the end and helped you defeat the Baron. And, the apocalypse is probably not going to end. There's probably not going to be a cure for it now. The funniest part was when Kyle got out, he was like, oh, you guys don't have the cure or the thing to suppress the infection anymore? And everyone's like, no, man, that's been gone for like 10 years. No one's had that shit. He's like, oh, shit. So that was great. Otherwise, the gameplay was fucking phenomenal. I really love the story. I'm giving Dying Light the Beast an A. It's not going to be one of the Game of the Year contenders, as I think I'm going to put these two up here. And we'll put them up there, and then they're going to move back down to A, because there can only be one Game of the Year. But I have 4 contenders for Game of the Year. So I want you to kind of guess, hey, which one am I actually going to tell you Game of the Year is. Speaking of the next contender for Game of the Year, Ghost of Yotei, man. Ghost of Yotei, in terms of combat, was probably the best game of the year. The feel, just the sword fighting, holy shit, was that a fucking blast. I enjoyed so much about it, and it kind of brought back to the point of Assassin's Creed Shadows when it came to the story. I enjoyed sitting here and marking names off your hit list of the people that, killed your parents. But when you actually go into the story and you realize, I feel like it was more than just a revenge story. It was more of Atsu finding out who she really needed to be. And unfortunately, it took the death of her brother to figure out who she really was. She wasn't a spirit of vengeance. She wasn't the what do they call it? They just called her they just called it the Yotei. They called her the Onryo, I believe, was the one. And she realized that she was more than just a spirit of vengeance, because she didn't even care after she killed what's his name? At that point, she wasn't going to care if she lived or died. Now she was going to be happy just dying. But then she realized and found out in the story that her brother was still alive. And I loved the way that they did it. She was just helping out a commander I'm part of the I don't remember the names of the soldiers that were a part of this group, but Jubei, he was a commander basically in their little army there that they had fighting the Yote 6, and or the not really. I guess the group technically wasn't the Yote 6, but the group that. Dude, why can't I not remember anyone's name anymore? I guess I'm talking about like 30 different games today, so that's not a shock, but I don't know. I keep losing my train of thought. Maybe I need to take a little break. I'm not going to, though, because I want to get this all done and get uploaded tomorrow. But Jubei and Atsu doing work for them, why can I not even just think of the name of what they are? They're not samurai. I'm just going to say soldiers. Doing the work for the soldiers, and she ended up going up a mountain with Jubei to take out some of these, some of the enemies. And Jubei recognized the sword that she had. It was his father's sword. And he was like, "Where'd you get that fucking sword?" And I don't remember what her original excuse was. And then she said that it was her father's, and that's when Jubei found out, oh my gosh, this is Atsu, my sister is still alive. And it all kind of circling back to the part where they were so far apart from each other that they never really knew each other, and all that Atsu was now was just a spirit of vengeance, and Jubei was an honorable samurai, you know. The shogun is the word I was looking for. He was just an honorable samurai, and they both had really good sword fighting skills, but it took Atsu finding out that she has a niece and that Jubei was a father, that there's more to life than just her revenge. That even though at the end Jubei ended up getting killed, that she now had a reason to live, and that's taking care of her niece and being a part of an actual family once again. And that was incredible. I thought they did a really good job with this game. I'm going to put it up. Oh, not in C. I promise you it's not a C. I'm going to put it up in contender for Game of the Year. And I'll let you know whether that goes back down to A or if that is my Game of the Year. Otherwise, we got Indiana Jones, The Great Circle, and The Order of Giants. This was fun. That's really all it was. They didn't really add much to it. You got to kind of got a new area to search and walk around in. I'm not going to spend too much time in it. I wish they would have done a little more with it. I don't even really remember the original story. Don't remember much of it. I know the final boss fight was kind of annoying, kind of long, and because I was an idiot and didn't know what to do. So, yeah, if I wasn't an idiot, probably wouldn't have been a problem. But Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, The Order of Giants, that was a fun DLC. I just wish there was going to be more. I'm going to put it in B. Okay, here we go. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This game was fucking amazing. This is the greatest role-playing game I have ever fucking played. The level of detail and immersion, from alchemy to the sword fighting to blacksmithing, as we'll get more into that in the Legacy of the Forge DLC. My God, this was fucking incredible. This was fucking incredible, man. From the story to all the extra fun side content, I never felt like I was bored. I loved the fucking actual realistic sword fighting combat in the game. Now, a lot of people didn't like it and they got angry with it, but it's like you got to get further into the game and get better at sword fighting. Otherwise, of course, you're not going to be good. Your guy's not good at sword fighting yet. And by the end of it, I was pretty good. Unless you look back at my Mysteria Excelsior DLC and you see the ending boss fight. Yeah, I had a shitty sword. I'm not taking the blame for that one. That sword sucked. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 as a whole, such an amazing game. One of the greatest role-playing games I've ever played. The story was also very fucking incredible. Going from, being a soldier trying to deliver a message, and him, Henry, and the other dude that was with him, I can't remember their name. I haven't. You don't really listen or talk about him in the DLC, so that's why I don't. Can't remember the name off the top of his head. Henry of Skalitz, and why can I not think of the other guy's name? I don't know. It was mostly just a fight between King Wenceslas's loyal soldiers, loyal army, the people that were loyal to King Wenceslas, which was Henry and his group, and the people that were loyal to the other king, the guy that was actually seen in the game, who I can't remember the name of the top of my head. What the heck? But this is a game that's based off real-life historical events, real-life historical settings that they went to, designed all the castles and the towns off of. Obviously, all the castles today aren't what they used to be, but they kind of took the designs of what they were and made them into how they probably would have looked when they were built, thousands of years ago, which was absolutely incredible. I learned so much about the history of Bohemia and the surrounding region, so much of what went on back in the, what year was this, 1400s, 1500s, and that was amazing, man. I loved it. It had a lot to do with religion, which I thought was fun, and it's not really a concept that's touched on in a lot of games, and I'm really happy with how they did, really happy with how the story turned out. I loved the ending with the Siege of Suchdol. That was absolutely amazing, and coming into the finish of the game, it was very good, and I really hope that they do make another one. I'm actually just about to start playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. I haven't played it yet, I know, but they one of the things that they did a good job with here in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was kind of explaining a lot of what went on in the first game through just reading the codex. It's very easy to figure out what happened in the first game because they talk about it all the time, whether it's just in the main story itself or if you go back and read the codex, which we did a lot. We read every single codex in the game. I mean, so, yeah, I mean, this game was fucking incredible. It's going to be one of my Game of the Year contenders. Out of these three, one of them are winning Game of the Year, or my Game of the Year, and I'll tell you, man, fucking loved it. Brushes with Death DLC. This was fun. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed just getting back into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and playing it. Every single time I got back into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it was just a wide fucking smile on my face because I just absolutely love playing this game. So really, it gets a lot of love from me because it just got me back into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and I got to play it again. Otherwise, I feel like it didn't really deliver much. Added a fun little side quest pretty much is all it really did. And other than that, I feel like that's really all I can really say. You can paint shields now in this DLC. But it was fun. The story was fun. I think everyone would enjoy it if they played it. But I'm just going to put it into B for that reason alone. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 Legacy of the Forge. This one I loved a whole lot more. It really just kind of gave you a whole lot. It gave you a reason to grind. And really all it was you owned your forge in Kuttenberg. And you got to basically do jobs for other people, whether they were kind of more actual forging jobs or they became a little more criminal-esque or kind of like darker jobs, more secret jobs with the forging guild or the blacksmithing guild. But that was a blast. Absolutely loved this DLC. There really wasn't much for story besides fixing. They worked really hard to complete what Henry's father had started, and that was fixing the clock tower of the town hall in Kuttenberg. But that was fun, and the whole reason this one's getting an A for me is just because of how immersive the forging was and how fun it was to just sit down and just forge, man. I mean, this is just, it's such an immersive game. It's so much fun. We get into Mysteria Excelsior. I think Brushes with Death was probably the worst DLC. Obviously, it was still really good. Legacy of the Forge was the best one. Mysteria Excelsior, it was fun. I had a good time with it. It gave you a whole new kind of area to explore because you got to go into the monastery and explore the entire area. The whole story about sickness spreading throughout the monastery and you trying to find the true answers of why the sickness is going on. Ended up figuring out that, hey, oh shit, people are robbing from these graves and people are trying to steal things and get money out of the monastery. And it all ended up coming back to not only that, but the whole reason that the illness kind of spread, or kind of like the main reason that, I wouldn't really say the main reason everyone got sick, but the biggest reason was that you went in there with a kind of like a herbalist, a guy who, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, who was there to look after some people, or actually he was there to ask a favor of the abbot to go after in meet with King Wenceslas and check his health. But he always had papers of King Wenceslas's health on him, while his assistant worked for King Sigismund, that's the name, I couldn't remember. And he had a lot more vile plans to do. Well, he made it look like he was part of helping out find a cure for this disease that was spreading throughout the monastery. He used it as kind of a disguise to try and steal the papers from the other herbalist of the papers of King Wenceslas's health, and bring it back to King Sigismund and get a good reward for it, pretty much. And basically, it was all stopped by Henry, and nothing. He probably would have got his way if Henry didn't come along, and Henry stopped it, and it was a good time. I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it a B because I didn't really feel as much immersed in this one as I did with Legacy of the Forge, which is why I don't want to put it up with Legacy of the Forge. It was still a really good story, still really enjoyed it, and I still had a blast with it, and I hope that all of you will go and play it for yourself. Lost Soul Aside, man. Lost Soul Aside was kind of a letdown. They really kind of hyped this game up early on I don't remember when they announced it. It was fun. I had an absolute blast with the boss fights. I had an absolute blast with just the combat after you kind of got one of the things to make the combat a little easier because it was kind of tough. And I'm not very good at tough games. It's why I don't play Souls-like games. And I don't care what fucking people say about that. If you can call me a pussy all you want for saying I want games a little bit easier so I can sit back and enjoy. I don't play a game to torture myself. I play games to sit back, enjoy a good story, or enjoy fun gameplay, all right? I don't know why people have a problem with that. Some people for some reason just fucking hate that. I don't know why. But Lost Soul Aside was fun combat wise. I wish the story was better. I wish the character development was better. I wish the interactions and relationship between the characters felt more real. I felt like each and every single character just felt so separated. They acted like they were close, but just felt so separated from each other. The voice acting felt really cringy and kind of hard to listen to at times, and the story, it was just really hard to sink your teeth into what the story was actually going, or where it was going, or what it actually was, especially when the voice acting felt so funky and so weird, and I didn't really like that. As I said, I think the biggest bright spot was the boss fights and the combat. I think that was actually legitimately fun, but once you get past that, you just kind of realize that you're playing a game that has a really clunky story with really clunky voice acting, with with characters that don't really feel like they have any connection to each other, but are trying to act like they do, And for this reason, I'm giving Lost Soul Aside a C. I still enjoyed it. I don't think it was worth the money I spent. I really, just because I was having such a hard time with the story, it's not a game where I sat down and just recorded episode after episode after episode like I did with Death Stranding 2 or Ghost of Yotei. I guess I couldn't do it with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because I streamed that. But with Dispatch, I recorded I recorded the first 2 episodes on a daily basis because I didn't have time. But then on that third day, I recorded 3 episodes. Next day, I recorded the final 3 and just got all up. Because I loved playing the game that much. But Lost Soul Aside didn't do it for me. I like the combat, but the story and the relationship between the characters, it just wasn't there. And it's weird because I wanted to like the characters so badly. I just couldn't find myself to do it when it felt like the connection and the relationship between them was fake. I mean, that's really just how I feel. Going into the next game, Mafia: The Old Country. This game was fun combat-wise, absolute blast combat-wise. Really good story-wise until it came to the ending, when it came to Enzo and what happened at the end of him trying to get away. I understand that it can't always go your way, how the player wants it the way to go, whether that be Enzo escaping with his girl, which was the Don's daughter, and trying to get away to America. I understand that, I'm not going to get what I want. But the way that they killed Enzo, it really soured my taste on the ending. I didn't really like the way they killed him and how it ended in a way. I'm kind of wondering what connections, if they come out with another Mafia game, what connections that Enzo's girl, the Don's daughter, is going to have to any possible characters from the first 3 games. But I don't know. I really liked the game. I really was enjoying the story to where it was going, and I really liked the map and how the map looked, the environment. That was all fucking fun. It really felt like you were actually a part of the old country Mafia, man, and that was fucking great. I'm going to give Mafia the Old Country a B, and I think the ending is what's really making me go back and putting it in a B, whether it would have been in an A. And I know B is kind of like this big, it always ends up being the most amount of things that I put into B, and that's really only because B is kind of like that. I don't want to say it's that mid-range, because C is definitely the mid-range, but B is just kind of like, it's good. I think it's worth the money if you want to sit down and play it. If you waited for it to go on sale, I wouldn't blame you. A is where I kind of say, this is a game you need to buy, this is a game you need to play, this game is fucking fun, and is worth every dollar you play, especially, obviously, Game of the Year. C is like, okay, I paid $70 for Lost Soulside, or $60 or whatever I did, and it wasn't worth it. I'd wait for it to go on sale. D, I'm probably telling you not to really play the game at all. F, I'm telling you to never even think of the game, and probably never even open up the application to say, never open up the fucking page, the store page of the game, which I haven't really got to that point yet, where I found a game where I want to put into F, or we recorded a game to put into F. I think the closest one that would have been an F, and probably could have been an F, was Gollum, but I didn't put it in F, I put it in D because I did actually like parts of the story, but the gameplay was so fucking atrocious, it was very hard to get into, and the story really wasn't really that good, but I think it was good enough to put it in a D. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. I understand there's a lot of love for this game, mostly because it's a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid 3. And when it came to Metal Gear Solid, I've never played a Metal Gear Solid in my life. I wanted to play this because my favorite YouTuber, Jacksepticeye, he loved this game. And I was like, this is a game that I'm definitely interested to try for myself and sit down and record. I really enjoyed the story. It was really complex. It was really fun. I think they did a good job because I looked up explanation videos of the original game. They did a really good job sticking to what the original story was. Changed some things that needed to be changed, but really and truly kept it how it was. And the graphics, the game itself, it looked absolutely amazing. Stealth, I understand it's a stealth game, but I didn't have a whole lot of fun with the stealth. The stealth felt really hard, and I didn't really enjoy that. A lot of times I didn't even end up doing the stealth. I wish I could have done a little more. I think if I went back and played it, I'd be doing it a whole lot better. But other than that, I'm going to give Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater a B as well, as it just didn't... I don't think I can get it any higher than a B. I didn't enjoy it that much. If you bought the game, I think there's a lot of people that would put it in A, but I'm sitting here kind of telling you, like, hey, it's worth the money if you want to buy it, but I wouldn't blame you if it's on sale either. Mind's Eye, man. Mind's Eye was probably the biggest disappointment of the year. And I know my buddy went back and forth on me about hating it and how much he hated it. He didn't play the game. He watched fucking videos on it. I played the game. And honestly, for the first part, I think it looked good. 30 FPS lock was not fucking it, though. 30 FPS, when you play 60 FPS and higher, you realize how clunky 30 FPS actually feels. Now, if you only ever played 30 FPS, going back to like PS3, PS4, and other games that were only 30 FPS, if you went and played Red Dead Redemption 2, you probably wouldn't notice it either, as Red Dead Redemption 2 is also locked at 30 FPS, but Red Dead Redemption 2's world is so big that it's really hard. It's really easy to get distracted by everything else and not realize the 30 FPS. But man, you could tell that Mind's Eye was running at 30 FPS and sometimes lower than that with how clunky it was moving around in the game or from frame to frame. And yeah, I don't think anyone wants to be locked at 30 FPS in 2025. But I will say that the game actually I enjoyed the start of the game. I think the story was making sense. I actually had a fun time with the story and was into what was going on. And you can tell that I feel like this game got rushed towards the end because the writing and the story got lazier and lazier as we went along. The gameplay the gunfights were just fine. The fact that you couldn't have a melee weapon or melee with your gun at all was very annoying, especially because they had this problem with the AI that a lot of games suffer from, and that's you sitting in cover and the AI, 2 or 3 AIs rushing you in cover. Now I'm sitting here trying to reload and these guys are rushing my cover, and it's like, okay, why are they doing this? Why would anyone do that? I guess I can understand a strategy some at point, but how do you really know that they're reloading and don't have ammo in a clip or don't have another gun to pull out? I don't like the AI running up to me while I'm in cover. I hate that. I mean, I really do. But Mind's Eye, it was a good starting point. Could it be fixed? Maybe. Will it be fixed? Probably not. I highly doubt it's going to get a Cyberpunk 2077 style of game. But yeah, I don't really know what to tell you after this. I'm going to give it a C. I don't think it was bad enough to tell you that it was D. If you wanted to play it, I'd wait for it to be like $10, $20 at the worst and play the game to enjoy the good bits of the story, enjoy the way the look of the city, the Vegas-like city is really cool. The story is interesting and gets lazier and lazier as it goes on, unfortunately. But I want to put it in C. I don't think I can really get it any worse, but it definitely can't get it any better than a C. So it was middle of the road, man. What do you want? Silent Hill F, man. I think a lot of you know, if you watch my Silent Hill F videos, that I didn't enjoy it very much. And if you want to know why, it's because I watched somebody else play it and realized, holy fuck, I suck at this game because it's the biggest skill issue I've ever had a problem with in my game. Why did I not read the fact that, hey, when they do this little weird, like, color change or whatever right before their attack, that's when you hit, and that's when you can stun them and you can hit them, and the combat probably would have been a whole lot easier if I realized how much of an idiot I was. Dude, when I watched Markiplier play some of it, and he figured that out right away because the tutorial fucking tells you, or the hint tells you that that's what you can do. I read that. I read it because I read every hint that shows up in these games so that not only you know that I'm doing it correct, but I know that I'm doing it correct. And it turns out, even with me reading it, I wasn't doing it correct. You know what's funny? I was originally going to come in here and give Silent Hill F a C because of how much I didn't enjoy the combat. But turns out, I just fucking suck. So there was my complaint that turned into a complaint on myself and not the game for Silent Hill F. Silent Hill F story was really bizarre, and I feel like obviously a lot of Silent Hill stories are very bizarre. I can tell you, though, I definitely like Silent Hill 2. A lot of that is because, well, hey, you can play the game and get the ending, get all the endings, not all of them probably, but most of the endings in one playthrough. To get the true ending to Silent Hill F, you need to play through the game at least 3 times. And I understand that this was a shorter Silent Hill experience, but I didn't really like that, mostly because I didn't want to play through the game 3 times, especially after having such a problem with the combat. It was very kind of fucked up, the story was, when you really think about it, if you looked up the other endings. But you also kind of understand what was happening also when you look up the other endings, how the pills was more of both the men and Hinako's life, whether it was I don't remember the guy's name, but her best friend, her partner, as she would call him, or it was the fox mask dude who was trying to take advantage of her. Both of them weren't healthy for Hinako, and she needed to kind of find the true ending is her kind of finding herself, and not ended up falling victim to either of them. But I think the other 2 endings are like her falling victim to both of them in a way. Or the original ending, the main first playthrough ending, is her just kind of going crazy, and now she's going on a murder spree in a white dress, thinking she's getting married to Fox Mask, but she's just a crazy woman on pills. And then, of course, they have their special UFO ending that all Silent Hills have. I'm going to give Silent Hill F a B, mostly because I don't really appreciate the fact that you have to finish the game 3 times to get the main and true ending, apparently. But I can enjoy the fact that the story is very complex. They did a good job with it. And I just, my own problems is the reason I want to put it in B too, because I was originally going to put this in C, but turns out I'm just an idiot. And that's why it has to go in B. Split Fiction, man. Split Fiction was an absolute blast to play. It was so innovative, from flipping between the genres of a more medieval fantasy and a futuristic sci-fi. That was really fun. It became just these 2 writers going into a basically a publishing business, except they turned their written material into a simulation that they were going to put them through, which was it Zoe? It was Zoe, and was Zoe the blonde one? No, yeah, Zoe was the blonde one, and Mia, I believe, was the other one. She was the sci-fi one. Zoe was the fantasy girl, and she ended up going into and getting trapped in media simulation, so that both their subconscious minds were being read at the same time, and their subconscious minds were being thrown into sci-fi shit, into fantasy shit, which neither of them liked, but they learned to kind of come together and fight off the true intentions of this publishing company, was to steal the writers' materials and turn them into simulations and to basically video games in a way of themselves, and just make money off these writers and not give them any of the royalties in a way. So really, it's just about some fucking assholes, if we're being truly honest. And it was a blast to play. I think the ending was very innovative from different having different styles. Like, one side of the screen was the medieval side, the other side was the sci-fi side. Depending on which side you went on, you changed clothes, the environment would change, what's happening around you would change. I was an absolute blast. They did a fantastic job with Split Fiction. I'm putting Split Fiction in the A. It's not up there with Game of the Year contender. Probably would have been if it came out a couple years ago, or maybe even just last year. But with the games that came out this year, it's just going to stick in A. And it was a very, very fun game. I loved it. Still Wakes the Deep Siren's Rest DLC. I realized that this came out a couple months after I played it, and I think I just saw it. It just randomly showed up my feed like, oh, there's Siren's Rest DLC to Still Wakes the Deep, and I'm like, there's a DLC to Still Wakes the Deep? So I went, of course, played it, recorded it. It was a very good story. It was a very good just kind of side story to what the lore was for Still Wakes the Deep. Of course, there's a lot of unknowns that come from the actual lore of Still Wakes the Deep, like what is this thing, what is the disease or infection or whatever the hell it was that they drilled into at the bottom of the ocean in the oil rig, and all of that stuff. That was really kind of fun to figure out what happened. This was like 3 or 4 years later after the oil rig disappeared off the face of the earth, and she went down there. It wasn't Kaz, anybody related to Kaz. It was someone related to like Brody or something. I don't really remember. And she went down to figure out what happened, take pictures of the dead bodies, and find some closure for the people back home. And it ended up, I think there's two different endings to the game. One is where you kind of accept being with your father and basically dying down there, or realizing like, hey, this isn't right, I need to get out of here. And I think she ends up getting saved by her partner, who happened to still be alive, and I think they both actually get out alive, unlike what happened in the main story, where you kind of had no choice because you couldn't go back, you couldn't bring this disease back to the mainland, so you had to sacrifice yourself and to destroy the entire oil rig and kill whatever was there. But it was just kind of cool to see what happened a couple years after the oil rig went down in Still Wakes the Deep, and it was just a very, very, very fun experience that I really enjoyed playing, and for that reason, I'm going to give it an A. It was very fun. WWE 2K25, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, my career this time around sucked. I don't like, same reason I didn't like Silent Hill F. You had to keep going back you had to play it again to kind of get the other endings and get all the unlockables, which I didn't really like. I wish you could have got more of the main character unlockables in your first playthrough, but I ended up going back and playing through them to get the unlockables. But I didn't really like it. I'm just going to give WWE 2K25 a C. We're not going to talk much about, I don't think we're going to be doing WWE next year, mostly because I'm just kind of eliminating all sports games from, all sports content really, from this channel. It's just going to be mainly video games. Now, time for us to sit down and eliminate our game of the year. Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Coming in fourth place for me is Ghost of Yotei. And the whole reason I think it's coming in fourth, it's really just a typical kind of revenge story. As much as I love the gameplay, yeah, I mean, it was a good story. This is any other year, probably could have won it last year if they brought this out last year, but they didn't, and that is kind of the reason why it falls to fourth place. In third place, it's going to go to Death Stranding 2. I really wanted to put Death Stranding 2 into second place, but the more I talk about the narrative of Expedition 33 and how bizarre, creative, and absolutely amazing that story is, the more I realize that Death Stranding 2, I think, is just kind of the game that it was a sequel, and it didn't. It could have used some more expanding and some more crazy lore stuff that probably would have ended up beating out Expedition 33 for me, but it didn't. And I don't know, man. Death Stranding 2 was an absolute blast to play. I love that they upgraded everything that that made Death Stranding 1 so fun, but unfortunately it just falls out. And when it comes to the true Game of the Year winner, for me, my Game of the Year 2025 was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I say that because, man, I love role-playing games. I love, I mean, they're just such a blast to play. And from how immersive this was and how much of a smile it put on my face every time I played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, just beats out anything, any story you could give me, even though Expedition 33's story is far better than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 still had a very, very good story, but just the immersion and just how much I felt alive myself in the story, how much the game itself felt alive is what makes Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 my Game of the Year. Whether it goes from all the detail of, like, hey, if you kill somebody in this area, there's going to be more guards kind of walking around that area because of the fact that somebody just died in that area. Or, like, you can find fun and creative ways to talk yourself out of going to jail or paying a fine. There's just so much immersion in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 that's hard for me not to make this my Game of the Year, especially when I'm somebody, as you can see, that plays a lot of role-playing games. And it's just hard for me to say that this isn't the Game of the Year. Expedition 33, it was an absolute blast, man. The story is definitely up there in maybe the top 10 of some of the best stories I've ever played. So creative, so innovative, so heart-wrenching, so just incredible of what Expedition 33 was. But unfortunately, it just fails to reach that role-playing game style for me that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 just really fucking nailed. And it's just such a blast to play. But there you have it. There is the 2025 video game tier list for the year 2025. The final video on my channel for the year 2025. I hope you all will join me next year when we talk about the games and put together a tier list from put together a tier list for 2026's video games, which will include video games like Resident Evil Requiem, hopefully GTA 5, Tides of Tomorrow, the next game I'll be playing, Code Violet, and so many more. Diablo 4, Lord of Hatred, Lego Batman will be in next year's. I'm excited to get into the 2026 game slate. Excited to play what they got coming out in 2026. It's going to be another big year for gaming, and I'm incredibly excited. But that's going to do it for this video. So if you guys did enjoy, please drop a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you're new here, please subscribe for more video game videos after this. Well, I can say after this, but the next video, first game of 2026, will be on January 10th with Code Violet. In February, we got High on Life 2, Tides of Tomorrow, and Resident Evil Requiem. In March, what do we have in March? There's one game in March, Crimson Desert. And then in April, we got Pragmata, Diablo 4, Lord of Hatred, and what's the other game in April? Saros. And in May, we got Lego Batman and 007 First Light. Other than that, social media is down in the description below. Twitter and Instagram, you can go and follow all those. Leave a comment of what you thought of my 2025 video game tier list, and go and create your own tier list, as this, once again, will be in the description below. The link to this will be in the description below. You can go and put together your own. And I'll see you guys in the next one. My voice is dead. Appreciate you for being around. Appreciate you for enjoying all the games I uploaded in 2025. Let's make 2026 a fantastic year.